Okay, so here's a couple of problems asked over email. This first one is from section 2.2.19, and it asks us to find the x and y intercepts and graph this equation right here by plotting points. Okay, so whenever you go to find x-intercepts, the x-intercepts on the graph are always going to occur when y is equal to 0. And so what we're going to do here is we're going to let y equals 0 in this equation, and then we're going to solve for x. Okay, so if I set the y to 0 and just plug that in, then if I solve this, I can actually add the 2x squared to the other side, so that I have 2x squared equaling 8. Okay, and then what I would do is, I'm solving for x, I would divide by 2, so that I get x squared equaling 4. And then I would take the square root of both sides, and the square root of 4, when I use it as an operator like that, is going to be plus or minus 2. Okay, so that means that my x-intercepts occur at the point 2, 0, that's one of them, and then negative 2, 0. Okay, to find the y-intercepts, you always let x equal 0. Alright, so let's see. For the y-intercepts, we're going to let x equal 0. And that's letting x equal 0 in this equation up here. Okay, so we have, let me write the equation again. Y equals 8 minus 2x squared. So I'm essentially plugging 0 in right there. And this is going to look like, y equals 8 minus 2 times 0 squared. Okay, and obviously 0 squared is 0, times 2 is 0, so we end up with y equals 8. Alright, so that gives us the ordered pair point 0, 8. And that is our y-intercept. So an x being 0 and the y being 8. So 0, 8. Okay, so we actually have 3 points now on this graph. We've got the two x-intercepts and the y-intercept. And they ask us to graph it using, by plotting points. So we can use these 3 points, but then we can also pick some others. Okay, so if we were to set up an xy chart, and we already know that 2, 0, negative 2, 0, and 0, 8 are points on our graph. And I think what we should do is choose some other points. Let's choose 1, and let's choose negative 1, and just see what we get out of there. Okay. Alright, so for y equals 8 minus 2x squared, if I let x equal 1 and I plug that in, then I have y equals 8 minus 2 times 1 squared. And so that's going to be a y equaling, this is 2, so 8 minus 2 is going to be 6. So the ordered pair point 1, 6 is also on there. And then for x equals negative 1, we're going to plug that in as well. When we take negative 1 and square it, we just get a positive 1. So this becomes 8 minus 2 times positive 1, which again is just 8 minus 2, so that becomes 6 also. Okay, so there's an additional couple of points. And if we just graph this, one thing to notice that the coefficient of the x squared is negative, which means this is going to be a concave down parabola. So it's going to be a U shape that's upside down. And if we just plot some of these points, so I'm not on graph paper, but this will give us at least an idea of the shape of it. Okay, so if I plot 2, 0, that's right here, and negative 2, 0 is right there. 0, 8 is up here. Okay, and then I've got 1, 6, 4, 5, 6 is going to be that point right there. Excuse me, negative 1, 6, and then positive 1, 6. And you can see the U shape in this. It's going to be shaped down and U-shaped. Okay, so that is problem 2.2.19. The same person also asked a question on 2.2.51, which that problem was giving you this right here, this equation, x plus 2 squared plus y minus 3 squared equal to 36, and was asking you to identify the center and the radius of the circle. Okay, so we're supposed to identify center and radius of the circle. Okay, well, the first thing is, the reason that we know this is a circle is because the x is being squared and the y is being squared, and we have a plus sign between them. And that's different than if you take a look at this equation, the y wasn't being squared. So this gives us a parabolic shape. Okay, well, the center and the radius, the center is always going to be, it's hk, so if you just look at the general form of your circle, it's this, x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. That means our center is always occurring at hk, and our radius is always just r. Okay, so in this equation up here, I've got positive 2, negative 3. That means that my center would occur, we'd actually flip those signs, at negative 2, positive 3. And my radius would actually be the square root of 36, because this is actually r squared. So r squared is actually equal to 36. If I wanted to know what r was, then I would just take the square root. This is technically plus or minus 6, but it doesn't make sense to have a negative radius, so we just use the positive here. So your radius would be a 6.